Hare Krishna. So let me start. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana-salakaya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Startam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahim Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Samsajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitam Shah Panchakalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Welcome to our systematic study of Vedic scriptures. As part of that, we are going through Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. Verse number 13. Let me know if you can see the screen. So I'll just read this verse and then we can go in turns from verse number 13 to 19. Who would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
I can read.
Yeah, please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Verse number 13. Keyang Jattat Pravakshami Jajagyatamrita Shluke Anadi Matparang Brahmana Shattana Shaduchate. Translation. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing, which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Purport. The Lord has explained the field of activities and the knower of the field. He has also explained the power of knowing the knower of the field of activities. Now he begins to explain the knowledgeable. Now he begins to explain the knowable. First, the soul and the supersoul. By the knowledge of the knower, both the soul and the supersoul, one can release the nectar of life. As explained in the second chapter, the living entity is eternal.
Your voice breaking only for me or others also? Hare Krishna. Others are able to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are able to hear.
Okay. For me, there's kind of some breaks. Go ahead, Parth.
Okay. As explained in the second chapter, the living entity is eternal. This is also confirmed here. There is no specific date at which the Jiva was born, nor can anyone trace out the history of the Jivatma manifestation from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it is beginningless. The Vedic literature confirms this. Na gyate niyate va vipaschit Katha Upanishad 1 to 18. The knower of the body is never born and never dies. And he is full of knowledge. The Supreme Lord as the Super Soul is also stated in the Vedic literature. Shvetashara Upanishad 6:16. To the Pradhan Kshetragna Patir Gunesha, the chief knower of the body and the master of the three modes of material nature. In the Smriti, it is said, Dasha Bhuta Harera Eva Nayana Nanya Savaiva Kadachana. The living entities are entirely eternally in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his teachings. Therefore, the description of Brahman mentioned in this verse is relation to the individual soul, and when the word Brahman is applied to the living entity, it is to be understood that he is Vijnana Brahma as opposed to Ananda Brahma. Ananda Brahma is the Supreme Brahma, personality of Godhead. So shall I repeat the verse again?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you want, you can. Yes, we proceed here. So, yeah, for last few weeks, or actually even months, we can say, we have been discussing this chapter number 13 of Bhagavad Gita, which is kind of the section of Bhagavad Gita where Jnana Yoga is elaborately explained, and verse number 8 to 12 are about knowledge, where Krishna is saying, if you know this, then you know the knowledge. Rest everything is not, is only ignorance. And here we are now going to know about knowable. So we are talking about knowledge, knower, and knowable, which means as a knower, if we want to know something, who is that or what it is that is knowable. So Krishna is saying, I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So now we are talking about transcendental entity, and what is that? And in the purport, Prabhupada is giving the explanation that by knowledge of the knower, both the soul and super soul, one can relish the nectar of life. So when we know who I am, and when we know who is the super soul in me, or with me in this body, then we know what to do, how to do, and what is the purpose and everything. In that way, we can enjoy nectar of life. As explained in the second chapter, the living entity is eternal. There is what is it? There is no specific date at which the Jeev was born. Nor can anyone trace out the history of Jivatma's manifestation from the Supreme Lord. So, human understanding is based on time. When did something happen? If you go to a hearing or some case, the questions that are asked about who did, what happened, and very importantly, when it happened, because we use time as a means of our solution resolving ability, right? Okay, if I want to know, okay, I need to know when it happened. Otherwise, something happened, I can't solve it. I can't solution. So time, why we base time? Because time is eternal. It's not changing. It's eternal. It's present. hmm? It's not sleeping when we are sleeping. Yeah. It is not that okay if the battery in a clock is um, uh, over, that doesn't mean that time is going to stop. The time will still tick on. So that is the means through which we track ourselves, we trace ourselves, our activities. uh, so if we can trace out, uh, because the time is eternal, uh, there is a possibility for us to also see when was our existence. But because it is so eternal in the past, for us it's actually even we are eternal. There is a moment when we all were created, but when is that? No possibility of tracing. This is what it says. There is no specific date at which Jiva was born, nor can anyone trace out the history of Jivatma's manifestation from the Supreme Lord. But it doesn't mean, we should be very careful. Does it mean that the Lord and we are born at same time? Is it that we also part and parcel of the Lord? So these things we will learn. Therefore, it is beginningless. Yeah. Is my voice cracking?
Yes, Prabhu, your voice was cracking. Mm.
Okay. So I'll just repeat what I was saying is that as Jivatma cannot trace his existence when it started, the Supreme Lord, was eternal, also beginningless. So at least in that sense, we see that the Vedic literature confirms this. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. The knower of the body is never born and never dies, and he is full of knowledge. So the soul is eternal. The Supreme Lord as Super Soul is also stated in Vedic literature to be as Pradhana Kshetragna Patir Gunesha, means Pradhan, the chief. Pradhana Kshetragna, knower, the chief knower of Gunesha. He is a owner, Pati of what? Gunas. He is the owner of the three modes of material nature, or the master. In Smriti is said that Dasa Bhuto Harer Eva Nanya Asvaiva Kadachana. The living entities are eternally in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his teaching. Therefore, the description of Brahman mentioned in this verse is in relation to the individual soul. Because the Lord is Parabrahma, and we are also Brahman entities, it doesn't mean both are same. In this, the Brahman is mentioned about the knower. When the word Brahman is applied to living entity, it is to be understood that he is Vijnana Brahma, as opposed to Ananda Brahma. Ananda Brahman, personality of Godhead. Vijnana Brahma means we are knowers, not knowable. So next verse, you who have joined, feel free to read. Of course, we don't want to try out for perfection. that may not happen all of a sudden or on the first attempt, but we take this opportunity to just open up, start practicing reading.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, may I ask two? I had two questions in the last verse.
We will go through few verses, and in case if the question is not answered, then let me know.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, may I read this one?
Okay, yeah.
Sarvata pani padam tat sarvato shishi rumukam sarvata sruti malloke sarva mavrutya tishtati. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. As the sun exists, diffusing its unlimited rays, so does the super soul or supreme personality of Godhead. He exists in his all pervading form, and in him exist all the individual living entities, beginning from the first great teacher Brahma down to the small ants. There are unlimited heads, legs, hands, and eyes, and unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the super soul. Therefore, the super soul is all pervading. The individual soul, however, cannot say that he has his hands, legs, and eyes everywhere. That is not possible. If he thinks that under ignorance, he is not conscious that his hands and legs are diffused all over, but when he attains to proper knowledge, he will come to that stage. His thinking is contradictory. This means that the individual soul, having become conditioned by material nature, is not supreme. The supreme is different from the individual soul. The supreme Lord can extend his hand without limit. The individual soul cannot. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that if anyone offers him a flower or a fruit or a little water, he accepts it. If the Lord is a far distance away, how can he accept things? This is the omnipotence of the Lord. Even though he is situated in his own abode, far, far away from earth, he can extend his hand to accept what anyone offers. That is his potency. In Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuta. Although he is always engaged in pastimes in his transcendental planet, he is all pervading. The individual soul cannot claim that he is all pervading. Therefore, this verse describes the supreme soul, the personality of Godhead, not the individual soul. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Sarvata pani padam tat sarvato shiro mukham sarvata shrutimaloke sarvam avritya tishtati. Tishtati means existing. And how existing it is, like everywhere. When we are talking about the soul is eternal. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So when we are saying that the soul is eternal and also that super soul is eternal, and what are the features of the super soul are discussed for next verses. And here it's described about the Lord everywhere are his hands and legs. So the super soul has hands and legs, eyes, head, face, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. So he is present everywhere, and the analogy given here is about sun. Sun exists, diffusing its unlimited rays. So does the super soul. He exists in his all-pervading form, and in him exist all living entities, beginning from the first great teacher Brahma, down to the small ant. So, so what we are talking here is about the Lord in his expansion, where he has all the living entities resting in him. Then there are unlimited heads, legs, hands, and eyes, and unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the super soul. Therefore, the super soul is all pervading. The individual soul, however, is limited. The example given in that limitation is that the Lord's hand is can expand unlimitedly, but our hand cannot stretch so much. It's limited. The super soul exists, can extend his hand without limit. The individual soul cannot. And in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, if anyone offers him a flower or fruit or little water, he accepts it. So the question sometimes, for kids it's easy, but not for us. When we say to kids that Lord will come and accept, they accept. But we want proof. We want an understanding. For that, we need to understand the Lord. If we think that Lord in the deity form, what he has 4 hands. Okay, yeah, he has 4 hands. How long are there? We think that the length of the hands are as much as the murti. No, but here the Lord is saying that if we call with love, if we offer with love and devotion, then the Lord accepts. And how? That because he has unlimited hands. In Jagannath Puri, we see that the offerings which are made in big quantities are just brought in front of the deity and then taken away. And the Lord is seeing with his eyes, and he's also. Jai Shri Mataji, can you go on mute, please?
Sorry.
So from far, he honors prasadam. It is not that only for name's sake people are okay, might be he may eat or may not eat. Let me bring the big cooked pots and then go. No, the Lord really honors. What is important is love and affection and worship and devotion. So here, that is his potency. At the moment, we can't understand. That is the reason we have doubts, or that's the reason we are not even able to imagine how is it possible. Because for us, when we want something, we can raise our hand, get it. Only that is our limit. Otherwise, we take help from someone, they bring to us, and then we take it. But Lord doesn't need help. He is completely independent and he is all pervading. And here it says in Brahma Samhita also, Gogoloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhutam. It says, though the Lord is in Golok, he's nivasati, akhilatma bhut, he is also resting where? He is everywhere. He is all pervading. The individual soul cannot claim that he is all pervading. What does all pervading also mean is that he is omnipotent and omniscient. He knows everything. But our body, we only know what is happening in our body. We only know what is happening in our mind beyond that. But Lord knows everything through his all-pervading potency. Okay, no, let's go. I think a couple of verses are further explanation of the super soul. Any other would like to read? Like to read? Maybe Ramana Prabhu, you are there.
Prabhu, I connected from mobile, so
Okay.
quite difficult to see the screen.
Okay. Then.
Prabhuji, I can read Prabhuji.
Okay. So Satish Prabhu, you were reading, and next, if I may ask, Shakti Premata, you can also read. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarvendriya Gunabhasham. Sarvendriya Vivrajitam Asaktam Sarva Brukaiva Nirgunam Guna Botrache. Prabhuji, if you can make it a little small. Yeah. Should I read the translation? The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature. Perfect. Prabhuji, if you can please scroll down. The Supreme Lord, although the source of all the senses of the living entities, doesn't have material senses like the just give me no, I think it's at my end too. Sorry, I just corrected. Doesn't have material senses like they have. Actually, the individual souls have spiritual senses, but in conditioned life, they are covered with the material elements, and therefore the sense activities are exhibited through matter. The Supreme Lord's senses are not so covered. His senses are transcendental and are therefore called Nirguna. Guna means the material modes, but his senses are without material covering. It should be understood that his senses are not exactly like ours. Although he is the source of all our sensory activities, he has his transcendental senses, which are uncontaminated. This is very nicely explained in Svetaswara Upanishad, chapter 13, verse 19. In the verse, Apani Pado Javano Grahita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no hands which are materially contaminated, but he has his hands and accepts whatever sacrifices offered to him. That is the distinction between the conditioned soul and the super soul. He has no material eyes, but he has eyes. Otherwise, how could he see? He sees everything, past, present, and future. He lives within the heart of the living being, and he knows what we have done in the past, what we are doing now, and what is awaiting us in the future. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. He knows everything, but no one knows him. It is said that the Supreme Lord has no legs like us, but he can travel throughout space because he has spiritual legs. In other words, the Lord is not impersonal. He has his eyes, legs, hands, and everything else. And because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we also have these things. But his hands, legs, eyes, and senses are not contaminated by material nature. Bhagavad Gita also confirms that when the Lord appears, he appears as he is by his internal potency. He is not contaminated by the material energy because he is the Lord of material energy. In the Vedic literature, we find that his whole embodiment is spiritual. He has his eternal form called Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He is full of opulence. He is the proprietor of all wealth and the owner of all energy. He is the most intelligent and is full of knowledge. These are some of the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the maintainer of all living entities and the witness of all activity. As far as we can understand from Vedic literature, the Supreme Lord is always transcendental. Although we do not see his head, face, hands, or legs, he has them. And when we are elevated to the transcendental situation, we can see the Lord's form. Due to material contaminated senses, we cannot see his forms. Therefore, the impersonalists who are still materially affected cannot understand the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So in these lines, we are saying that the Lord also do have senses, but these senses are very, very special. And these senses are so special that we tend to not understand. And sometimes when we, because do not understand, we minimize the potency of the Lord's senses, or we do not even accept it at all. So that's the level. So which means if one is completely devoted to the Lord, he accepts that Lord has senses, and they are not ordinary senses, they are transcendental and of a different capacity. Yeah. But if an atheist, he may think that, oh, Lord doesn't have senses. And now we are talking about a class of people who are impersonalists, who believe that Lord might be there, but Lord may not have a form. And they see that he is nirguna. Guna means, here we are talking about qualities. Nirguna means he doesn't has qualities. When someone doesn't has qualities, means he doesn't have senses. So that understanding make them that, okay, the Lord has no form. But rather here when we talk about nirguna, he doesn't has material qualities. Why? Because he transcends the modes of nature. So the Supreme Lord's senses are not so covered. His senses are transcendental and therefore are called nirguna. Whereas our senses, I think Adirasa Prabhu, were you asking yesterday this question? When the soul is, I don't know if you're here, yeah? When soul is a marginal energy, how can it be, what was the question?
Yeah, I asked, yes, the soul is the marginal energy of the Lord, and the Maya, or the material energy,
Material energy.
then how is it, then how
Yeah.
the Maya is stronger?
Yeah. And here, because we wanted to enjoy, yeah, cheap life. Sometimes we see, right, someone wants something, then we say, hey, is he crazy? He already has a bigger thing, but he want to be happy with something which is inferior. And that is because of the desire. Because of the desire to be part of it. Just imagine that you are a very rich person, but you see, hey, there is a lot of happiness in that chokarbatti, and you think, see how nice the people who are there in the slums. Let me also go and be in the slum. You know that people who are struggling in slum are not because they are not because they are not rich, right? We know that because they are not rich, they don't have facilities, they are just struggling. But you are a rich person, but still you are going there, and so we are sons of the Lord, and we are part and parcel of the Lord. We have a higher potency, but what we are doing is we are constraining ourselves, restricting ourselves to that inferior energy. And as soon as then, this is also what happens when we know that a person who is putting his clothes, he starts identifying with that, isn't it? A doctor, just imagine for a short while you put a stethoscope in your neck and you have this operon. What will happen?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah.
You tend to think for some time that you are doctor, right? If you wear for a very long time, you may feel, hey, you are really doctor. So did this further answer that question? This verse is also related to it, because we are identifying ourselves through matter. The Supreme Lord's senses are not so covered. His senses are transcendental and therefore are called nirguna. Guna means material modes, but his senses are without material covering. So as soon as when we also come to this platform that, okay, this body is temporary, this material world is temporary. I am not actually, in reality, should see this as external. It's not that I am part of it. Usually we say that I am part of this body, right? No, actually we see, when we understand that I am different with this material nature, and with this material self-realization, and okay, I have internet issue, but Jayshu Mataji, give me a minute. I'll finish this part and then we can ask questions. So guna means the modes, and then we are talking about, although he is the source of all our sensory activities, he has his transcendental senses which are uncontaminated. So the trick is that even if we want to come to this higher state of mind, higher state of understanding, and to know who we are, and realize, I mean, we call it self-realization. It's not self-knowledge, it's not self-wisdom, it's not self, yeah, it is self-realizing. Realizing means to really believe that I am not this body. That is coming only when we come out of this contaminated understanding that I am this body. And the Lord, yeah. So we can then understand who is the Lord. When our mind itself is free from such contamination, then we can understand, hey Lord, he has hands and accepts whatever sacrifice is offered to him. He has eyes. He has what is that example? The eyes, but he has no material eyes, but he has eyes. Otherwise, how could he see? He sees everything past, present, and future. Divya Gyan, what is that? Divine eyes, divine knowledge. So everything is divine. We cannot perceive, understand what is that looks like. He has spiritual legs. In other words, Lord is not impersonal. He has his eyes, legs, hands, everything else. And because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we also have these things. What is the proof that Lord has all these things? The proof is that because we have. Because the Lord has created us. And then according to that, when we are talking about ears or when we are talking about eyes, these are actually not this physical eye or ear that we are seeing when we are in front of a mirror. The soul has also these senses which are then empowered by the predominating deities. That is the reason some people may not are born deaf. It's not that they don't have physical ears, they have physical ears, but the ability to hear is not there because the predominating deity of hearing has not granted such facility because of karma and etc. Bhagavad Gita also confirms that when the Lord appears, he appears as he is by his internal potency. This is also very important. The Lord's internal potency, which means it's already transcendental. It's not contaminated by material energy. So the leelas that he performed are sometimes seemingly simple, are very difficult to understand, sometimes very difficult to understand, seemingly impossible. So all these things are possible because he is beyond the influence of the jurisdiction of the material energy. He is a lot of material energy. In the Vedic literature, we find that this whole embodiment is spiritual. He has his eternal form, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He is full of all opulences. He is the proprietor of all wealth and owner of all energy. He is the most intelligent and is full of knowledge. These are some of the symptoms. And he is the maintainer of all living entities and the witness of all activity. So the Lord, how is he doing? That we will discuss in the next verse. Before that, yeah, questions from Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu and Jai Shriman.
Prabhuji, I have no question. I just want to give one example which I heard in one lecture of Amog Leela Prabhu, that on that verse that you told that we go to the slum area and we see that how poor the people are living, but we know because we are on higher level. So they give an example of pig, that they live with their families in the mud. They eat ficus, but when we see ficus, we see mud, we see everything that they are not in the right place.
Yeah.
But as we ask with the pig, so they should tell, no, please go to your family. I am very much enjoying my feces or my mud. So this is similar to situation with the material energy, that in the material energy they don't know, because we are on some higher level. We see from broader side, no, they are on they are punishing themselves, they are not on the higher side. But when we ask with them, so they told, please let us enjoy. So they give one example of this.
Okay. Yeah, very nice. In Hare Krishna. I don't know, today a lot of internet issues. So yeah, very nice point. In that also we still see that when we see, we don't like it, but when our senses are enjoying the same so-called, I mean, for us that is filth, yeah. But that's food for a hog and pig. So what is happening is it is attracted to that kind of food. Yeah. So people in mode of ignorance, they like such food. People in mode of passion, they like certain other foods. So, and then this is indeed coming. Why? Because we have desire and we got in contact with that. Yeah. But as and when our consciousness is elevating, yeah, the pig consciousness can also elevate. But in the next life, it would laugh on itself if it sees, hey, was I a pig? I don't know. Who knows? Even our life, we don't know. Now we feel filth as disgusting and all. We don't know in which life we would have been pigs. We don't know. But because our consciousness is elevated, now we see, and this refinement process helps us to elevate and to have the self-realization. Yeah. And then understand that I am the soul, nothing to do with this matter. Yeah, thanks, Matai. And Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, I had the question which was not answered in the 3-4 verses. That so the first one was that the Lord omnipotent, Lord is omnipotent, so he knows also our origin. So when we appeared, exactly what time, so he's all knowledgeable. So if he, so by his wish only, because he is omnipotent, he is all powerful, we must have appeared, and his wish must be that, yeah, we take or participate in the service of him. And without this wish, if we have appeared with this wish and that is not fulfilling his goal, his desire, then how he is supreme? Because he is all powerful, he knows past, present, future. If he knows that his living entity in the future or will go away, how he is Lord Supreme?
Very nice question, never came to me, but I can see in these lines that Lord who knows everything, he knows what will happen to your future, right? He didn't make, if you see the whole material creation that he created is perfect, and similarly the whole marginal potency, all the living beings are also perfect. Now we come the purpose of the Lord, because he wanted to enjoy loving relationship with him, so he created all of us, right? And now, no, but there is this sense of some who want to be away from him, yeah, so that a living entity can enjoy. Yeah, Lord is also granting that. It doesn't mean that he doesn't know what will happen. We don't know what will happen, but he knows what will happen. Yeah. And then in that broader picture, of course, we are talking, the people who are in the material world are not many. Yeah, it is only 1/3 of the creation. 2/3 of the creation is spiritual world, and still they are engaging in the service of the Lord. It is only 1/3 of the people who are here. Or in that way, the quantity wise, if we see, is also less. So in that sense, the service that the Lord is being offered is still there. It's not like not happening. And more importantly, as you said, because Lord has created us, and he has also created such a way that we also have the independence, so that he is the means of relationship, that is the means of service. And yeah, this will be the consequences. This can be the consequences. Lord is knowledgeable person, so he knows everything what will happen because of that. And still it's happening because again the will of the Lord. It can happen. Yeah, it can happen. If you see when the battle between Varahaswami and Hiranyaksha happened, it did take some time, right? It's not like the Lord came and slapped and then that's it. No, there was a moment where something happened that exciting. Yeah.
So,
you're
Prabhuji,
getting
Lord likes the living entities, so who have gone to material world and they try to come back and serve him. So that also Lord, and I mean, likes to have such
Lord likes the freedom.
pastime.
Yeah. Lord likes to give the this freedom through which one can freely engage in the service of the Lord. That's free will, and that's the free will through which and we are giving so many colors and flavors to the Lord, right? Even here, we have come to the material world, and we are also serving here.
Yes, Prabhuji. And another
And
was
Lord
Prabhuji.
also one fine day, yeah, this whole reformation process will happen, and one goes back and again engage in the service, and there will be someone who again comes back. It's also Lord's creation, right? This world is also Lord's creation. He has created it.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, the living entity is cognizant of so in from the spiritual world in contact. He was in contact with the Lord as he appeared from Lord. So he is cognizant. Is he cognizant that there is material world which is inferior, because living entity is also Satchidanand, full of knowledge. If he is cognizant, and still he choose to go to material world, or wants to enjoy, that is also doubt that because he Lord, or for example in the Golok Dham, where they all are, they don't know, or they are covered by Yogmaya, that these Lord's potency, or how great Lord is, they are not in that awareness, or so it is covered. So but still, if then in Golok Dham they have no any material contact or desire, and no one comes from Golok Dham back, because they don't see Lord as some great supreme person who manages all, and there is also material world and all. So it is the question is, the soul is full of knowledge, and still it decides to come to enjoy inferior nature.
Yeah, first thing is, as you said, it's not about knowing the inferior nature or not. It's knowing about that the quality of the soul is what, yeah, And the question may come, how come this happened when one is in complete knowledge? Such an Anand situation. Yeah, this is still possible that, yeah, you know that driving 150 is not good, but you still want to drive. Yeah, because there is adventure. And this adventure, seeking adventure is there in us. And this adventure can come to that, okay, that could also come to a dangerous situation. That we desire that, okay, I want to enjoy, not offer enjoyment, I want to enjoy. And then the Lord is putting us through this facility. Yeah. Okay, two hands.
Thank you, Guruji.
First, Jai Shri Mataji.
Prabhuji, I just want to add in your talking about this Prabhuji, when you are giving the answers. First, Prabhuji, we were all in the Golaka Dham, or we were all with the God, but because of our eager to know about the material world, and we want to enjoy, so God humbly give us a way to enjoy the material energy and see what's happening. So he gives us the way to born in this material energy, and we enjoy all these things. And when we go to the Golaka Dham, or we what I heard in one lecture, that after become so such what his Prabhuji, what was his question? Because
Yes.
I remind one line.
So, in spite of so all knowledgeable Sachitanand, why did we choose to come to the world?
But after become so purified, after become so purified by this after this world, why we come to again to this world? Means my line was that. Why?
So is that your question or your statement?
It's my question.
Yeah.
Because
So,
we go through the all paths, na? In material energy, we suffer, we go to God, we chant, then we again go to Golaka Dham. Why? Then we come back.
the chances are less, but the chance is there.
Again,
So,
the chances are all there.
the chances are there. That's why we should really not take chance of purifying ourselves and always remembering all these things. When we attain our Swarup in the spiritual world, still, yeah, we were already in the same level. Yeah, before we were already doing service as, I don't know, someone is some gardener who is maintaining the garden of Krishna, but he's saying, hey, these fruits are nice and oh, looks so nice, and he may want to relish. So that can always happen again. Yeah, that can always happen again and again. There are different reasons why one may come. One is because of his own desire. One is because of Lord's desire. That's why we usually pray that, okay, I want to be instrumental. I want to be just be something in the hands of Lord's plan, whether it is spiritual world or material world, doesn't matter. Because in the end, it is all about serving, whether here or there, doesn't matter. And if someone have this and someone has this desire, and that desire is also, as I said, we are beings, as you said, eagerness is one, but it's actually adventurous. This is the quality of the Lord. Ananda Bhyasa, always want to seek happiness. This is also there. And sometimes we want to see, okay, I want to seek happiness alone. Just like Sudama, he wanted to seek happiness alone by eating that puffed rice. No, chipped rice. No? Maybe
and second point, what he told that God knows our future. So why he put us in the problems? So so I heard one example from Guru Gaur Gopal Das, that God give us choice. So if one fail in one exam, that is destiny. Okay, God decided that you are failed. You will not be take for an example B2 exam. But it's our choice, God given in our hands, that we again push ourselves and again do some hard work and again give the exam. So that is our choice. So we change our future also by doing our own choice. It's a free will given by God. So as God knows our future or destiny, but we can change, but God give us one thing, that's your choice also.
Yeah, so basically it boils to the same thing, right? Because we have the free will, the Lord is giving the free will, though He knows, yeah, what are we doing is something different to what we could have done. In still giving thing, and Lord very well knows what is our future. Yeah, so He knows our future. Yeah, and He knows our past. Even as a small entity, we also know what is our future to some extent, isn't it? Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu. If we don't lead a good life, then we suffer. If we do something good, we enjoy. Right? Yeah. And yeah, so there's every likelihood that usually we may tend to believe that, hey, this is only because even in Gita, Krishna is saying, if you once come back to me, there is no going back. Yeah, we were already there, we have come here. This also means that there are ways again we may come if we choose. Yeah, knowingly, unknowingly doesn't matter. The Lord will facilitate.
That's why devotees always want to serve Lord. Not they want mukti. They want that
whatever
we all serve
that
Lord.
we want to make. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Mataji. Did it answer your question, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, or?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Rishabh Dev. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I just somehow it was connected to the last two comments from Prabhuji and Mataji. For me, of course, hearing so many times from Srila Prabhupada and devotees and great Vaishnavas like you, of course, I'm developing understanding that whatever Krishna has planned or is planning or is the best for us. But when I heard these lines and the purport that, I mean, of course, he knows present, past, and future. And there was a time that he created us for some purpose to serve him or to have some of rasas with us, enjoy some rasas with us. But at the same time, he knew that maybe, of course, he knew that the jivas that I'm going to create out of me would fall down. It's not like he was surprised. Oh, they are falling down. What did I do? he knew that the jivas will fall down, right? So my first question comes, why would he then create us? I mean, why would have then if he knew that some of us will fall down?
Because he has hope. He knew that you'll come back.
Sorry?
Because he has hope that you come back.
and second question I have that even if we then decided let's create them, we will see what happens, or let's enjoy the show. The second question comes that why he then gave us the free will, because he knew that if he gives the free will, we will exploit it. So why it's necessary to give the free will? I mean, we could have simply just enjoyed the rasa in the with him at the Goloka.
That is a cheap way of enjoying. That is a slave level of enjoyment. Huh? Does a slave lovingly give his himself? Rishabh Prabhu? Yeah. All of a sudden you are a Dubai Sheikh. Yeah. You bought someone as a servant. Will the servant love you and serve you? Or will the servants just say, hey, master is giving me money, let me serve him, yeah, by force?
I mean, it depends. If my master is loving me and we have a good relationship, I really don't mind that tag of being a slave.
No, but you have restricted his freedom. If you restrict his freedom of free will he enjoy? As soon as your servant is say, master, today I am going to sleep 10 hours. But you don't have freedom, man. You have to work. Yeah, you have to work as long as I want. Or if you say you're a good boss, right? Yeah. Usually all the boss, they think that, oh, hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, bro.
There is some strange messages today. I don't know, somehow what happened is today my system got upgraded. My hard drive is clean. There are no files, nothing. Everything is, I don't know. And now I had installed Zoom and it's in German, showing some errors. Coming back, so for your question, as I said, yeah, if Lord is all merciful, if you cannot understand the Lord's mercy, what will you do? You are this Dubai Sheikh, doing everything nice, but if the being is not in a position to understand, what will he always think? He always thinks that Lord is exploiting me, or you are. And then when there is no free will, then what will happen?
I will be honest with you, Prabhu. In my case, I'm not really enjoying my free will. I feel like this free will more or less like a punishment to me.
What happens afterwards is a different thing, but at least the free will, we didn't know that this free will can cause bondage and punishment, suffering, danger, fear. That's why we chose. Otherwise, will we choose it?
So that's where I come to a dilemma, that is having this free will was a good option, or would becoming simply a slave of Krishna?
No, but you're seeing only the downside of it. The same free will, Srila Prabhupada has set up whole ISKCON. Did someone force him? No, right?
I mean, when we read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, he basically said, I mean, of course, I don't know what was going inside him, but indirectly he said that I didn't want to take sannyas. I was just forced by my Guru Maharaj or by the will of Krishna. So kind of he was pushed into it. Or I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to, reflect.
Yeah, then for that matter, we need to really pray to Srila Prabhupada to give that understanding what was really he meant there. Yeah, he is being repeatedly in the dreams, and yeah, Krishna also is directing, right? So for devotees, they are directed.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and then again comes, yeah, when the direction is coming, there still is free will. Yeah, and coming back, so it was still Krishna is directing, helping him out, and at the same time Prabhupada is also enacting them. So this free will is very nice. Don't see that, oh no, there is a danger. Just there is always a danger. But not having a free will, what will happen? Yeah, and Lord doesn't enjoy the rasas. The mellows are sweet mellows, right? So all these are relished when the being is given freedom, free will. No, if I'm just sitting on you and say, hey, give me that, give me this, you just say, hey, get out. Rather I say, hey, no, shall we have a party? Shall we celebrate? Then you just think, hey, my calendar is booked till 2024. Afterwards, we can maybe see. Then okay. So at least there is something, yeah, you will enjoy. And in 2024, I'll enjoy rather than forcing. Yeah. Did it answer your questions?
Yes, Prabhu. For sure. I mean, I need to, theoretically, I do understand. Practically, more important, please bless that I can live it. Because it's difficult to live to the scriptures.
That is the school program. The school program is all about reforming by learning lessons. So yeah. So we hear, we take the theory, apply it in practice, burn our hands, again learn what did we do, and again improve. In that way, we get graduation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jai Shri Mataji, have a question?
No, Prabhuji, I just want to add. Can I add on Rishabh Prabhu's answer? Rishabh Prabhu, please consider God as a father. So if you are father and your children ask for something, no, I want this, I want go to this, I want cola, or so what you tell to your daughter, okay, you have a free will, go and enjoy, and when you have a stomachache, then come to me. Okay, so he gives us free will because we are so much want to eager this enjoy this material world. So he gives us eagerness. He gives us free will. Okay, you enjoy, and when you suffer, then you come to me. So I think that what God wants, that he is like father or mother. So he can't force you. No, just go to Golakadham. No, just come here. But he gives free will. Okay, you want to enjoy, you enjoy, and when this hurts, then you automatically come to me. So he's not enjoying that we are in pain, or he's enjoying to see this, or he wants to enjoy this process. He just wants to want us to learn that, see, I told you, I said this terms or this rules, you broke this rule for your materialistic desire, so you enjoy, and if there is this pain, then you automatically understand the thing, why I have so many rules, and then you come. Prabhuji, I am right, or you have to add something?
No, I mean in the same lines. Yeah, what we just discussed. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is still the same. What Rishabh Prabhu is asking is that when Lord knows that we could misuse, why did he give free will? That is the question. So for that, as I was mentioning, it is the love of Godhead, and love will not be pushed or forced, and love of others is also not pushed or forced. That's why in today's world, so many breakouts or breakups happen, because people want to squeeze love from others forcefully. And Rishabh Prabhu, that Lord doesn't do. Yeah. And we may also have to learn that we cannot demand love, we can only command love by giving love. And until we come to this point that we can give love to the Lord, by actually giving love to fellows here, by giving love to devotees. When we say love means caring, yeah, love means not kind of a lusty activity of sensual pleasure, means okay, eating nice tasty food, or going for nice adventure rides, or no. Love means actually caring. It's a giving process. So in that giving process, if we can succeed, then we qualify ourselves to go back and then give our love wholeheartedly to the Lord and serve him through this love. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Prabhuji, but just these things are come in my mind and I just tell.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. This is a forum of interaction and then giving a perspective. Good. Anyone have any further questions? Where are we? 15. Let's take one last verse and then close. Sorry for the late start.
Shall I read, bro? Or
Yeah, please.
Bahirantascha bhutanam Charam charameva cha Shukshamatvad avijanayam Durastam chantike chatat. The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, and the non-moving, because he is subtle. He is beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Purport by his divine grace. In Vedic literature, purport bhi padhna hai na, bro?
Yeah.
In Vedic literature, we understand that Narayana, the supreme person, is residing both outside and inside of every living entity. He is present in both the spiritual and material worlds. Although he is far, far away, still he is near to us. These are the statements of Vedic literature. Asino duram vrajati sayano yati sarvataha. Kata Upanishad. And because he is always engaged in transcendental bliss, we cannot understand how he is enjoying his full opulence. We cannot see or understand with these material senses. Therefore, in the Vedic language, it is said that to understand him, our material mind, therefore, in the Vedic language, it is said that to understand him, our material mind and senses cannot act. But one who has purified his mind and senses by practicing Krishna consciousness in devotional service can see him constantly. It is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that the devotee who has developed love for the Supreme God can see him always without cessation. And it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that he can be seen and understood only by devotional service. Bhaktya tav ananya sakhya.
Thank you. Then someone please read the next verse. So these are together. Shakti Priya Mataji, if you can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, yeah. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhartra cha taj nyayam grasishnu prabha vishnu cha. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is a maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. Purport: the Lord is situated in everyone's heart as a super soul. Does this mean that he has become divided? No, actually. No. Actually, he is one. The example is given of the sun. The sun at the meridian is situated in its place. But if one goes for 5,000 miles in all directions and asks, where is the sun? Everyone will say that it is shining on his head. In the Vedic literature, this example is given to show that although he is undivided, he is situated as if divided. Although it is said in Vedic literature that one Vishnu is present everywhere by his omnipotence, just as the sun appears in many places to many persons. And the Supreme Lord, although the maintainer of every living entity, devours everything at the time of annihilation. It was confirmed in the 11th chapter when the Lord said that he had come to devour all the warriors assembled at Kurukshetra. He also mentioned that in the form of time he devours also. He is the annihilator, the killer of all. When there is creation, he develops all from their original state, and at the time of annihilation, he devours them. The Vedic hymns confirms the fact that he is the origin of all living entities and the rest of all. After creation, everything rests in his omnipotence, and after annihilation, everything again returns to rest in him. These are the confirmations of Vedic hymns. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisham visanti tat brahma tat vijinyasasva. Taittiriya Upanishad. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Premataji. So here we are talking about that the supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and non-moving. So the beasts and the trees. So the Lord is present inside and also outside. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. So here we are understanding further the Lord in the form of super soul, how he presents, how he has senses, but these are not ordinary senses. And here he is saying that he is all pervading, which means he is present inside us and inside outside us, exists outside and inside of all living beings. This means that Lord is not just only in the beings, is also in the non-beings. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of material senses. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. This is also in the Ishopanishad also discusses about this, the greatness of the Lord, that he has legs, but he has no legs, but he can go far. In that sense, when we are talking, it means that he doesn't have material legs, but he has senses through which he can go far. So this understanding of our own self is difficult. Understanding of the super soul is even further difficult. But when we take the support of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and then know this, because Krishna is directly saying these things. So when at least knowledge, we can acquire the knowledge. Okay, Lord, super soul is like this, and here it says that the example given here is about Asino Duram Vrajati Sayano Yati Sarvata. And because he is always engaged in transcendental bliss, we cannot understand how he is enjoying his full opulence. It's not imaginable, unlimitedly enjoying. Yeah, he himself is the description, the example is when Krishna sees Radharani. So seeing her beauty, he becomes more beautiful. And because seeing him more beautiful, Radharani becomes more beautiful. And in this way, they become more and more and more unlimitedly beautiful and attractive. Now, how can we understand this? Have we ever thought, oh, our understanding of beauty could be okay, only for our own self we can see, okay, this is limit. It can't be more beautiful. Come on, how can it grow unlimitedly? But that's what happens in the spiritual world, which we cannot understand. Therefore, in the Vedic language, it is said that to understand him, our material mind and senses cannot act. With our material mind, we cannot understand. With our material senses, we cannot understand. But one who has purified his mind and senses by practicing Krishna consciousness. And how to do that? By chanting. By chanting regularly. Why we want everyone to chant? Why? Because through this chanting process, the mind is purified. Through the chanting process, the senses are purified. When this purification happens, then we can advance, then we can transcend. Transcend means to go higher than where we are. This transcendence will happen, that we can transcend and experience something beyond this material world. God can be, and then it is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that devotees who have developed love, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, through the process of bhakti, what is happening is that Anjan, that ointment, what kind of ointment it is? Through bhakti, we get this ointment of love of Godhead. Through that ointment, what will happen? We can start seeing the Lord without break. And it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 11:54 that he can seen and understood only by devotional service. Bhaktya Swa Ananya Sakta. It is also said Bhaktyam Abhijanati. It is only through bhakti people can know me as I am. So this is the understanding of this verse. And the next verse is clarifying about the Lord, which is telling that Abhibhaktam cha bhuteshu, undivided. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, because we see that, hey, I am separate, living entity, Jayashri is separate, Rishabh is separate, Adiras is separate. Every one of us we see as divided or independent. We see ourselves as independent, not even divided. Because we see ourselves independent, and because in each of us we think that the super soul is also individual. The Lord has expanded into so many individual super souls. Yeah, in one sense, yes. But this super soul is still the same super soul. It is one Lord who has expanded into, so that he can be with us. He can be witnessing what we are doing. He can Anumanta. He can also grant what we want to do. That everything is happening by Lord present in us, in our heart. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as a super soul. Does this mean he has become divided? No, actually. And the example is sun. Yeah, this very nice example from Shastras that when we, we are in Duisburg, and then we see the sun is on our head, and if we fly from Duisburg and go to and then if we lift our head, there also be sun. If we go to a UK, we still see the sun on our head. The point here is, when we are saying on head, doesn't mean that, hey, is it 12 o'clock everywhere? Is it straight on our head? It means to say that we still see the sun. He's above us. Is he a different sun because I am in a different country? No, it is still the same sun. But I'm seeing every place, wherever I'm going, I'm seeing one sun. Everywhere, wherever I'm going, I'm seeing a sun, isn't it? Similarly, every person, every individual, there is a super soul. Is he different? No, he is the same super soul. So it's also confirmed in 11th chapter when the Lord said that he had come to devour all the warriors assembled in Kurukshetra. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that, hey, why are you so much worried? I have already killed them. When he is showing his Virat Rupa, warriors in the battlefield are being killed in the form of time. Everyone at one point of the other or the other, they will see the Lord. If we have a purified senses, we can see the Lord. At least if we have clarity of mind, we can see the Lord. How? Through his hands. We can see everything is happening through his hands, that he is enabling, he is providing, he is doing, so that way we can see Lord's hands in our dealings. If our consciousness is further refined, that we engage ourselves in the service of the Lord, then there are so many realizations great devotees experience. Their body goes through ecstasy, they have symptoms. The symptoms, yeah, we don't see these symptoms, right, for ordinary people, but great people, great sadhus, they experience those symptoms. So that way, as and how much we are refining our consciousness, accordingly we are blessed, so that we can see him, and a pure devotee we can see constantly. And if not, then in the end, yeah, there is this Lord, he is still seen in the form of death. But this death, at that, still we may not be able to appreciate it is Lord, but we are seeing. It is just like a murti we are seeing, we are thinking that this murti is just a doll, but the murti is the Lord. Similarly, one may see the death and may not see that he is the Lord. Only few will realize, oh, the Lord has come in the form of death. What is the proof? Arjuna has seen that, yeah, you are the time. So these are confirmations of Vedic hymns. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisham vishanti tad brahma tad vijnana sava. So this is the means through which we can understand that we and the super soul exist, and of course not that because we are existing, we are independent beings. The Lord is not independently dividing into everyone. It is the same super soul present in everyone. Okay. Stop here. Yeah, I'll stop here. Are there any questions? Is it clear, or what do you all say?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, can you please explain more this independently division? I cannot understand it well.
When I'm saying independent, you are considered, we feel we are independent, right?
Yes, but
I'm not depending in you. You are not depending on me. Of course, we both are dependent on Lord, but we feel that we are independent. Separated. Let me put this way: not independent, separated beings. Yeah. So you are separate, I'm separate, or there is as if like there is. What I mean to say is, we are complete, right?
Okay.
I am complete in myself, you are complete in yourself, every being is complete in himself. Different, no related, not related.
But in the terms of that super soul, we are understanding that the same potency of super soul we all are having, although it is different, separate.
Yes. So the super soul in you and super soul in me are same. We are different. Yeah, different is the right word. We are different, but the super soul is same.
Yes. Okay, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And also, it's not so many super souls. It is only one super soul.
So, Prabhuji, then one more question. Then when we say that Paramatma feature of the Lord, then that does not mean that it is a division. It is like same expansion sort
one
of thing.
entity of the Lord who is pervading inside, outside, who has senses. All these 4 verses now, it is the same super soul who is also residing in individual, but it is not super souls are residing. It is one super soul residing in everyone.
Okay. So Prabhuji, in that way, then we all are connected, not independent now, because that super soul is same.
How can we say we are connected?
Because that super soul is same, Prabhuji, na?
Yeah.
Not by our soul component, but this component of super soul which resides in us. Then,
But it's not like, okay, I and my hand. Yeah, my hand exists because of me, right? But I'm not existing because of you.
Yes.
We are part and parcel of the Lord, but not part and parcel of the beings. Yeah. So every soul is individual soul.
Yes, Prabhuji, that soul individuality is okay. It is like if I may say that we all are individual beads in a string. That string is same, is the super soul. And
Yeah, correct. Yeah, what you said is right. But again, every bead is itself independent. They are put together in a string. Every bead has its existence.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mother. Okay. Pratikali Madhuri, any questions? I'm just poking these days. I see you guys are quite silent, so I'm just saying, okay.
I remember this very, very long back. I had asked this question to you.
Yeah, that's
and you had given me the example with Ninad's when he likes the cake, you baked the cake for him with this example. So, it comes again and again after many years, the same question, but you have to.
The answer is there. We have to accept.
Yeah, accept it. Yeah, it's. I remember that instance only when I had asked this question many years back, and it's come up again, and it will come up again after a few years. Yeah, it's
important is to
we
remember.
forget. Exactly, forgetfulness is always going to be there with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thanks, Madhuri. Okay, thank you very much, and wish you a nice Sunday, and see us next week. Panchakalparabhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Jai Gaura Premanand.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.